G'day and welcome to this City Point podcast, reviewing the first T20 international between New Zealand and Australia at Hagley Oval in Christchurch. I'm joined tonight by Scott Sawyer from the Sunshine Coast Daily and Declan Hooper from wicketsandpickets.com. Welcome, boys.
Evening. How are you, mate?
As Richie might have said in the Billy Birmingham 12th man, pretty piss-poor effort there, I thought, by Australia. What about you, Scott? Do you reckon Aaron Finch is lucky to be out there?
Yeah, I think we raised it before the tournament. I thought he was under a big cloud, and he hasn't done a heap there to repay any faith in him by the selectors.
The way that New Zealand batted after being for 3 for 19, now Australia were on top early doors, but what they did well, in my opinion, was they got two players who decided they needed to stay around for a bit, just chip away at the scoreboard, and then catch up later in the innings. Pretty well played by Devon Conway and Glenn Phillips.
Yeah, it was all looking quite bright for Australia. I mean, Martin Guptill, a pretty experienced opener. Kane Williamson, the best test player in the world, all gone within 3 overs. All Australia looking pretty bright, but I mean, that was probably as bright as it got. After that, it was sloppy bowling, a lot of leg side bowling, especially from kind of experienced players like Kane Richardson. I'd say suspect field choices as well, like a lot of runs scored through mid-on, which I think were probably slightly avoidable.
Yeah, they were talking about that in the commentary. Mark Wall kept going on about having somebody in mid-wicket. It seems to be that they could easily get two runs a ball if they're pushing it in there, and they don't have to take any risks. And that's sort of what they did for like the middle overs. They didn't take any risks, but they put the bad ball away when there was a bad ball, and there's plenty of them. Yeah,
they put the hammer down too. Like they really, I think it was about 40 in about 4 overs. They put on sort of between the 4th and 5th wicket. I thought they stabilised pretty well after Williamson went out. I thought they could have, it felt like they were right on the edge of sort of just collapsing, but they rallied pretty well and then, really put the foot down. I thought Conway batted really, really nicely. He looked good. It probably didn't matter in the end, but Neesham's runs were pretty handy too.
Well, I thought that was pretty interesting that Neesham comes in, and you've got Glenn Maxwell bowling to him as the first over, and he in that over he goes for 17. You think Neesham, a decent batter by every metric, but I mean, put him under a bit of pressure. Put maybe one of your better quicks on to really see out the game, because once you got past him, it was down to the tail. But instead, they decided to put Glenn Maxwell in.
Yeah,
he goes for 17, and then it puts them right on their way to kind of finish off the innings in the way that they did.
They used 8 bowlers. 8 bowlers, and like Mark Wall was saying during commentary, and I don't agree with him much, but I agree with him that sometimes when you use too many bowlers, you got too many options. You know what I mean? It seems to be like, who do I put on now? What? So I brought him on. He's bowled 1 over, blah blah blah. If they carried on, just kept the pressure on, like you said, if they bowled somebody like Jai Richardson to Jimmy Neesham when he first came in, he's prone to getting out early. He's prone to being a slow start. He's prone to be a slow starter. Aaron Finch got it wrong there in the middle overs a bit, allowed New Zealand to get back into the game and allowed Conway to dictate the play, which if you put him under a little bit of pressure at the other end by getting wickets, then he might have also, been tempted to try and go big. This is his 5th T20 50 in a row. So, he's obviously the man in form, and he was outstanding tonight, I thought.
I think you got to, obviously, it's a fairly smallish field. It was a rapid outfield as well, probably.
Yeah.
Obviously works against the bowlers too, but I think, Finchie's probably been let down a little bit by his bowling as well. Like Richardson was costly. You go through those results. Sams has probably not performed the way he would have liked to tonight. And even Agar, you probably expect a bit more from him than that. I appreciate, Finchie's probably setting fields as well, but I think his bowling might have let him down a little bit too. You expect a little bit more from these blokes, largely pretty fresh from a BBL. It's not like they're just picking up the white ball again.
The ones that were in form continued to be in form, like Jai Richardson, Ashtonagard did all right. But the ones who were picked on reputation more than anything failed. Maxwell's shot was pretty piss poor. Marcus Stoinis, his shot was pretty piss poor. Aaron Finch, again, no feet movement.
I thought Matty Wade's was pretty bad too, to be honest. I thought Wade, he didn't look, he looked all right. He looked like he was going all right, and then he's just sort of just played another. Yeah, it's basically what got him out of that test team, just playing that silly sort of mistimed shot, not at the right time of the innings, and he's just thrown it. We sort of keep him in, you got a platform, and you've got to start from scratch again without him.
The thing was as well, I mean, there's got to be a question to be asked about Philippi coming in at 3. I mean, you saw how destructive he was in the BBL all season long, batting as an opener. Ultimately, Philippi played a stupid shot and walked for 2.
Comfort factor. He was still out in the middle early, but it's a big difference from even, what did he wait 11 balls to get out there? But huge difference mentally from, being out there already. Than just sitting, even for 11 balls, sitting in the shed.
Probably outside his comfort zone, even though he's only coming in after 11 balls. But I would have probably put him up top. It's just, he's used to it. He's more comfortable there. It's his debut. So I reckon Australia got a few things wrong.
Is there a genuine case? Does Finch? Is there a real case starting to build for his future?
Victoria have dropped him. They don't play him in first-class cricket anymore. He only plays white ball cricket for Victoria. The only way he get into runs is by playing shots, and he can't see balls and wait to see it off in short form cricket, especially T20. He has to play his way, and at the moment, it's not the first time he's gone through some pretty lean patches. I remember leading up to the World Cup in England, he went through about 12 months without scoring any runs.
When the footwork goes, it's so evident with him. When he's stuck there, it's just all sorts. Finchy's not going to pick up. He's not going to be playing in India. That's going to be a massive concern. He's going to be walking potentially 2 years without playing Indian conditions properly. It's pretty. If that's the captain of my World Cup team.
That IPL now will almost. You've got to pick the side from that. And if Aaron Finch is not going, where does he fit in there?
Yeah, it's really crucial that the guys get over there. That you want. If Finch is seen as a long-term member of the 50-over side too, that's again more time without playing in India. I just can't see. I don't know. Maybe this is a series they go, give him his chances and push him out if he doesn't perform.
I was so impressed with the 2 openers for New Zealand tonight. They were as far as T20 bowling goes, that's how the blueprint. That's how you do it in New Zealand. And that swing that they got, both Bolt and Southey, was pretty bang on.
Trent Bolt's back. How good is Trent Bolt at full flight?
He was like that in the IPL. He does that job so well. And he's quicker. He's got quicker. That's where Australia fell short tonight. It was not knowing how to play, and they would have known what to expect from them. They would have known that they were going to pitch it up. They're going to try and swing it, and they'll bowl 4 or 5 overs between them. They're not going to bowl 1 over and come off. They'll bowl 5 overs, and they'll put you under pressure. And all you got to do is try and bat those 5 overs out, and then just try and rotate the strike.
I had to laugh with Warner, telling the boys, you got to pick the right ball to go hard at. I think he would have gone fairly early facing some of that bowling tonight.
So do I. Absolutely. I know Matthew Wade played 1 ramp shot off Trent Bolt, which went for 6, but a ramp shot off Trent Bolt and Tim Southey, really?
Well, he got out next ball, didn't he? So, you saw that a lot. So he wasn't the only one though. I think Stoinis as well. Stoinis hit a 4 and then got out next ball with a stupid shot.
He looked out of it.
He didn't look interested at all, did he? In the field and with.
Horrible.
Yeah,
what he's trying to do with it. Is he trying to work it through mid-wicket, or what's he trying to do with that? It looks like he sort of half opted late to maybe put it straight, but not enough on it. It just was such a nothing shot.
Yeah. Well, and going back to him in the field, he had a half chance. There was a off Conway as well. In the deep, had a half chance. Probably wasn't walking in as enthusiastically as he should have been, because I think if he was, he would have got to the ball that just landed in front of him.
He was having a go at people for misfielding off his bowling, but then he goes and does the same thing himself, and you think to yourself, mate, you can't have your cake and eat. You can't expect people to do it off your bowling, not do it off theirs.
What did you make of the spin battle tonight? The Kiwi boys picked up 5 between them. Our boys did nothing. I thought Sanford was unlucky. I thought Sanford bowled all right, but what did you make of it? Those boys.
Mitchell Santner doesn't normally turn the ball much, but he got a couple to grip tonight, and there was one which we bowled to Mitchell Marsh, which I don't know how he didn't bowl him. Yeah. And then Sodhi was, which I would have thought would have been their weak link, Ish Sodhi, and he picked up 4 wickets. He seemed to. He just kept going. He didn't worry whether he got hit or not.
I think it was good captaincy too. I think they've picked. Yeah, the boys were up against it. They had to keep going. Yeah, there's probably a few cheap wickets on offer. Like I think Sodhi struck me as probably more blokes getting themselves out than being out bowled. But you take a 4 for a T20 any day of the week.
I think you're 100% right on that. Just going back to Mitch Santner, the catch he took for Mitchell Marsh there as well was a bit of a screamer, that one, I thought. I mean, it probably wasn't the best shot by Mitchell Marsh because he hit it, catching high, but you still have to take them, and he did a really good job of taking them. And I thought the Kiwis in general tonight in the field fielded a lot better than the Australians did.
Yeah, I think everything they seem to be on their game fully tonight, top of their game, and the Aussies seem to be like just you only need to be a couple of percents lower, allow the opposition to get on top in an international game, and that's what it was. They dropped their game by 20%. And you'll lose quite comfortably, and that's what happened, I think.
Probably faced a pretty emotionally charged Kiwi team as well. Big night for them, big night for the country.
Huge night, because it was like the 10th year anniversary of the Christchurch earthquake, and obviously Hagley Oval has taken over from Lancaster Park as the main cricket ground. 9,000 in there tonight. It's fantastic to see that.
Well, I love the Kiwi grounds there. It's fantastic.
It's just like
great atmosphere as well. A few sixes there. Obviously, along the boundary there was a few people that were drinking champagne and whatever on that boundary and ducking to hide their champagne glasses when the ball was coming over.
I would love for one of those sixes to go smacking in those glasses. Fantastic.
I thought Davey might have picked it up. I don't know if he's on the money. It looks like the groundsman were on a few tins as well.
Yeah, well, he said when they came running out with that sawdust, he looked like he'd been on the froth. That's what Warner reckoned. So he was on it.
It looked like they had a couple of tins at the table.
What do you reckon on Warner's commentary? I thought he was all right.
When you sat next to Mark Waugh, anyone would look all right on commentary.
Michael Slater.
I just at one point I had to turn off the commentary because I just thought it was that. Like they're talking about mowing lawns, or it turns out Warner doesn't drive stick.
That was the revelation of the night.
That was.
Drive manual. You're kidding me. I thought they went all right. You can tell. Like it's hard work. They're commentating off the screen. You can tell that. That's tough for anyone. But they did all right. You can tell that. Yeah, there's a few balls that are clearly going to the boundary. They're still, is it getting there? But
they don't know what.
She carried that team tonight. I thought.
She did. Just touching on. So we've got the next game coming up in 5 days' time. Any selection changes you'd make for the next game?
Well, I think Australia need to find someone they can build and then who can bat the 20 overs. I'm not sure who that person is, unfortunately. Matthew Way can do that, but he's also liable to play that shot. Get 20 and then get himself out. And they need somebody who can go like James Vince did for the Sydney Sixers in the BBL, bat the whole innings and get 80 or 90, like Conway did for New Zealand. That's you can hit, how people can hit the ball over the boundary for 6, but you can also have somebody who can stay there and get 90 in 20 overs.
David Milan for England. He's now the number one test player in the number one T20 player in the world. And you wouldn't call him a big hitter by any stretch.
Do they have that guy with them on the sideline? I don't think they do. Like McDermott's a bit of a dasher. He likes to have a crack. I don't know if he's the guy that can build an inning. So I don't think they've brought him with him. Maybe
Darcy Short maybe is the one that stands out for me.
Can Short play that? Well, I guess he can, but can he play that? He struck me as still that very aggressive big hitter as well. I don't see that maybe Ashton Turner at an absolute pinch, but I don't see that sort of knock a ball around
No.
innings. Do you think they missed a trick when South Africa too got canned, not flying a Smith, a Carey, or a Marnus over as part of this?
Yeah.
Maybe just if you look into the future.
Absolutely right, mate.
Yeah.
I think Alex Carey would have been ideal. Because he can somebody who can bat up the top or in the middle. You know, he can do either, and maybe even Steve Smith or Marnus. One of those three. It's not as if they had to go into quarantine or anything like that. There's no bubbles or anything, obviously, because there's 10,000 in the crowd. So it's not as if they have to go in there and go into bubbles. I'm sure there is some sort of biosecurity thing, but it's not as strict as everywhere else. So I think they did miss a trick, maybe.
Maybe Smithy wanted to stay for a bit of red ball. Obviously, his form, it's been patchy. But at the least, I would have thought you'd maybe throw Carey and Marnus on that plane and go, boys, get over it. Like I appreciate what they're trying to do, keep the squads the same. But if we're real, the test tour is over. You're looking to put blokes over for the T20 and eventually one day World Cup. So I thought they'd missed a trick to not go. Look, here's some more experience.
The other thing was that all the bigger name Australians they weren't walk-ins for the IPL either. A lot of them weren't taken first up. Glenn Maxwell wasn't taken first up. Aaron Finch wasn't taken at all.
Smith's taken Baker.
Smith, Steve Smith as well. So it's not. I think everybody around the world is looking at Australian players and saying, well, they're not necessarily the best in the world anymore. It's like, David Warner's coming to the end of his career. He's just talking about tonight on commentary, talking about he might be niggly for the next 9 months, for goodness sake. How can you have a guy in 2020 cricket going into a tournament, the World Cup, not even fully fit? You can't have that.
Well, I bet you his IPL team are a bit pissed off him, just giving him a new contract, and he's gone on Australian television and told them that he's injured for most of the tournament.
That's what he just said, didn't he? Yeah, that's what he said. Exactly.
And on top of that, Glenn Maxwell must be the luckiest player in the world, right? He's had a poor IPL last season. He had a relatively so-so BBL. Gets cut from his IPL team, and then gets a pay rise.
It's insane.
The only one of the the only one who deserved what he got is Jai Richardson. Anything can happen in T20 cricket, but you've got to have the performances up top, I reckon. And at the moment, it's not happening up top.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, anything can happen in T20 cricket, but there's no evidence to say that Australia look like they are going to turn it around, because the players they've brought in, most of them aren't in form, other than probably Philippe and Marsh. Marsh scored some runs tonight and looked pretty good for his 44. But there's no indicator to say that things look like they could change. It's all based on reputation, which is reputation from a few years ago, if we're honest. Moving forward to Thursday, then we confident?
No. Of what?
Of
for Australia.
Of Australia getting over 150? Neither am I.
Look, I mean, you got to make Kiwis the favourites, especially if Bolton Southie continue there. Anything can happen in T20 cricket. We said that already.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen, but as I said, none of us are confident, so it should make for exciting viewing.
Do
Australia bite the bullet and drop Aaron Finch, Scotty?
No, he'll hit 100. He'll hit 100 off nothing. He loves it. He's done it time and again.
I'm waiting for him to get fuck all in the first four T20s, and then on the last one, once the series is already finished, he'll go and hit 150 off 30 balls
and save his career.
Yeah,
Maxi will do the same.
Yeah. And Stoinis to get a fifer. There we go. Thanks for your time again, lads. We'll see you again soon. Make sure you like and subscribe this video, and tell all your mates. And we'll see you again soon.